Hey there, y'all. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching us from. I am so happy this morning to bring in Madison Matricula Roberts and Marc Gunn to talk about song lyrics they wish that they had written, but had wish that they had rewritten but didn't. Words. Welcome,
Good
y'all.
morning.
Greetings. My name is Marc Gunn, and you're
And
over
I
here.
am Madison Matricula Roberts.
And yeah, this is our little panel. This whole idea was sparked by, well, it's something that I had thought about before. Some long song lyrics that I've rewritten and just never really edited fully, I think. But it was all actually inspired by by a song called Dimetrodon by the Double Clicks, which is a brilliant song. My children absolutely love it. It's this nice empowerment song, but it has one line at the end of the song which makes me go every time I'm listening. I'm like, why did you say hunt the weak? This is a song about empowerment, and now you're saying, but it struck me. I said, wow, wouldn't it be interesting talking about other songs that are similar and that we've written, and not, this isn't to criticize the Double Click because they're brilliant. I love them, and my children listen to them all the time, and but I thought it'd be a great thing. So thank you, Matricula, for joining me on this too. You have a bunch of songs yourself that you've written, huh?
Yeah, so we were talking about some of the things. I was just pulling up the chat here too. One of the things that happens to me is I write a lot of comedy music, and I'm sure this happens to you as well. It's like you write something, and then it's like, oh dang, you have a much better idea in hindsight, but then it's like it's not. And you can always change. You can change any song or re-record it, but there's always that version that exists that's
Yeah.
the one,
Once it's
or
recorded,
it's
it's
the one
set
that
in
people
stone.
latch. Yeah, that people latch onto, and you can always change it, but it's a change. It's not like the presentation anymore, right? So,
Right.
and then I have other ones where one of the things I try really, really hard to do in my music is go back and, um, as a social justice bard, I try to put my money where my mouth is and go back and look at music or lyrics I've written that. So as artists, like this is kind of my angle on this: is you can't control how people interpret your work.
Right.
Um,
Oh, good point. Yeah.
but and there's something to be said for authorial intent or not or whatever, but uh, I want to try and make the context of my lyrics as clear as possible. Like I can't play it, but I have one song that has a very, very filthy title, that had like a prima nocte joke in it, and like going back, and I was like, that is just really distasteful. You know what I mean? So it's like going back and editing songs to, like, there are other funny things to say,
Right.
um, in the context of that song, that was about sort of like feminist sexual aggression. It was a whole thing. But I can't say the title, but I think some people will know. But it was like going back and like looking like, okay, is this still representing me the way I want to be represented?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the other kind of category of stuff that I either wish I'd rewritten or do rewrite. So
Yeah. I think, yeah. There's a whole bunch of songs. You just mentioned that one. I'm like, there's a song that I have sung for many years that has the Divergent States Better song. Andrew once made a comment about that song, which was, two young guys singing this song is kind of hilarious. Two old fat guys singing this song can be kind of creepy, And I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's. And now I have kids too, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the type of song that I actually want to sing. So I don't sing. We typically don't sing that as much. We do pull it off occasionally at Dragon Con, but that's about the only
for sure.
place that it ever happens. So,
Well, yeah,
why
and
don't
they
we
become special occasion songs.
right, special occasion songs, and then it takes a different tone. Why don't we start by having you, Matricula, sing one of your songs and tell us all how it was inspired and what you wish you changed.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. I thought I have, like I said, I have a mix of things. I had some like they're too dirty, and then it's like, ooh, that one's too heavy. Because like a lot of the times, the songs that I have lyrics that I really care about are, I mean, I care about my songs, but like are the ones that are near and dear to me, which are the dirty ones, or the
Right,
therapy songs, like the ones that you like I've written like
for
not necessarily for
therapeutic
like
purposes.
stage work, but they're yeah, like man,
Yeah.
I have feelings. But this is
Right.
actually a love song that I wrote for my husband. who one summer, a few summers ago, he was like late to one of my shows, and it turns out he'd gotten into a van with a bunch of strangers to go play Pokemon Go.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, one, that's how the murders happen. And two, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna write you a love song, but it's about Pokemon, and it's like, and there's a bunch of songs called "I Choose You," about Pokemon, and I was like, okay, we need the lowest hanging Pokemon fruit, like the very lowest hanging Pokemon puns. So I'm gonna sing it, but like I had some ideas afterward for like good Pokemon puns, and then I just but it's like it's kind of a thing now, and like people know the lyrics, and it's like so I'm not probably gonna change it, but it's
Yeah.
With Pokemon, I'm Pokegon, way down this furry hole. I wanna be the very best, but it's a lonely goal. But free to choose my path, I need you to know. My heart's all in a tangle when I tell you hello. I never thought I needed more than Generation 1, 2 and 3 through 7. Yeah, what could be more fun? I caught every Pokemon over 20 years. Something still was missing till a wild you appeared. And speaking of, I need the lyrics for my own songs, because that's also a thing that happens. With Pokemon, I'm Pokegon, way down this furry hole. I wanna be the very best, but it's a lonely goal. But free to choose my path, I need you to know. My heart's all in a tangle when I tell you hello. I'm too shy to talk to you, and it makes me bold sore. My heart just goes rat-a-tate, 'cause it's you I adore. I have a plan to execute to get closer to you. I wanna train beside you, here's the worst one, and not just Pikachu. Pokemon, I'm Pokegon, way down this furry hole. I wanna be the very best, but it's a lonely goal. But I'm free to choose my path, I need you to know. My heart's all in a tangle when I tell you hello. Turns out all I had to do was just say hi and grin. So here are all my Pokemon, let me show you them. You responded ditto, and we rap-dashed from there. To Red and Blue and Sword and Shield, yeah, we'll go everywhere. With Pokemon, I'm Pokegon, way down this furry hole. I wanna be the very best, but it's a lonely goal. But I'm free to choose my path, I need you to know. My heart's all in a tangle when I tell you hello. Yeah, my heart's all in a tangle when I tell you hello. So that is the Pokemon song. Oh, and hey, people in chat. Yeah, so with that one, just to keep it started off light, you know, I kept coming up with like, okay, what about instead of Pokegon, Porygon is a Pokemon, right? And then there's one where it's like, the original line was, my heart just goes raticate, but it was like Rattata. Rattata, that's a better pun. So if anyone else has, oh, hey, Mike, hey, Wildcard. If anyone else has better Pokemon puns, I am open to hearing them. I will give you a songwriting credit. when I
Every little
registered
bit helps,
with
right?
BMI. Yeah, every little bit helps. Hey, and then there was another one. I think I actually sang it because I've been singing it that way, but it was like, um, you responded ditto, and we, like, I think the original line was like, and we hurried on from there or something, and I was like, rapidash, rapidash, you rapidashed from there. So like, this is an example of like a song where I keep coming up with like better puns. And trying to retrofit them back in. So like this is one that I actually have recorded, and so it's like I would have to like really do, like, I'm a big fan of doing like new versions of things. So it's like, you know, maybe for the future album, it'll be like an album version. But oh, there was one other thing. And then there's some stuff, like there's some jokes in it that I don't know if people get. Like, I don't know if you know the meme, like, here are my Pokemon, let me show you them. It was a big deal to my generation.
Yeah.
But it's like, these are my Pokemon, let me show you them. And it's like,
Yeah, I know actually
like, so
nothing about Pokemon, so.
did I educate you? Are you better able to communicate with the youth now?
A little bit. I mean, the most I've known was like the Pokemon Go with the, you know, the app that, and then the craze that hit 2 years ago when it was re-released or something. I
Some
don't know
people
what
are
happened.
still very devoted to playing that I'm married to. So, but
Yeah, it varies, you know. I mean, that's one of the things. There's a whole bunch of songs that when you're writing things, you have to hit these try to hit these themes and such that some people might get and others won't, or sometimes you don't care if you're writing for this particular audience, like if you're writing for Pokemon. That's the great thing about it. Filk in general, I think it's this, what you just did there, a Pokemon song which has, you know, very specific meaning for there, but you can get the little bit of the puns as you go. So the song I'm going to sing for now is a song that I have written. I think I've recorded like at least 3 times over the years, and I haven't changed it once. But it was a song that I wrote because I was I'd just gotten this traditional Irish musician in Austin had pulled me aside and said, because we were playing quote unquote Celtic music, and he said, this is what Celtic music is. And I was like, how are you telling me what Celtic music is? I mean, I don't need your interpretation. And it occurred to me, because at the same time, we had so many fans, the Brobdingnagian and Bards had made so many fans saying, yay, I love your music, you're doing great Celtic music, I love it. And then he tells me, you're not doing Celtic music. And so I was a little pissed off, and I decided to write my own song. Yeah, I was like, you know, so I came up and I wrote a song. And I'm gonna sing the song first, and then I'll explain what it was, the one thing that the very small thing that I still have yet to change, but it's on my mind because it's been for so long. There's a leprechaun in my head, I wish that I were dead, oh, I don't think he'll ever let me be. Ah, he tempts me with his gold, and if I were e'er so bold, I'd strangle him and leave him in the street. And then he says to me, ah, you're an Irish laddie, you call that thing a herb, but each time I share the lore that I am learning, he hides his head on my princely chant. La-ti-da dilly-dee-da, la-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da dilly-dilly-die. Oh, la-ti-da dilly-dee-da, la-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da dilly-dilly-die. There's a leprechaun in my room, he swats me with the broom, that's the reason I forget the words of the song. Oh, he shows a 4-leaf clover, before my song is over, he's buried it in a bowl of Lucky Charms. And then he says to me, ah, you're an Irish laddie, you call that thing a herb, but each time I share the lore that I am learning, he hides his head while my friends they chat. La-ti-da-dilly-dee-da, la-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da-dilly-dilly-die. Oh, la-ti-da-dilly-dee-da, la-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da-dilly-dilly-die. There's a net on the floor, and he says that I'm a bore. His eyes begin to glaze, and he starts to yawn. Oh, he lays him down to sleep, but I can see when I am peeping. He's watching me with envy deep inside. And then he says to me, ah, you're an Irish laddie, you call that thing a herb, but each time I share the lore that I am learning, he hides his head while my friends they chant. la-ti-da-diddly-dee-da, la-ti-da-dee-da, la-ti-da-diddly-diddly-die. Oh, la-ti-da-diddly-dee-da, la-ti-da-dee-da, la-ti-da-diddly-diddly-die. There's a leprechaun on the hill, and I know his gold is there, so I grab him by the neck and he gets away. Well, the pot's too heavy, he giggles, so I pinch me just a little, and he thinks I'm full as I run away. And then he says to me, "Ah, you're an Irish laddie, you call that thing a herb." But each time I share, I know that I am learning. He hides his head while my friends they chant. La-ti-da-diddly-dee-da, la-ti-da-dee-da, la-ti-da-diddly-diddly-die. Oh, la-ti-da-diddly-dee-da, la-ti-da-dee-da, la-ti-da-diddly-diddly-die. And then he says to me, "Ah, you're an Irish laddie, you call that thing a harp." But each time I share him, the Lord that I am learning, he lifts his head and he sings along. All right, can you guess what I wanted to change? Nothing. You got anything? Matricula?
I was just getting excited about clapping.
Yeah, so I wrote the song, and I still love it. I think it's still a fantastic little satirical take on this Irish musician. But the one thing that I wish I changed is it comes in that first verse. There's a leprechaun in my head. I wish that I were dead, and then and I'd strangle him and leave him in the street, which in general I'm fine with as a lyrics.
Yeah, you
Still
could.
to this day. To this day, the only reason that I have thought about changing him though is because I've sung the song at my daughter's schools, and so I've gone into school and going up there and singing that. When you get everyone singing along, great, everyone's happy. But those first two lines, the first two parts of this and that first verse, it's like, oh God, if I'm singing this for kids, maybe I should change it. And I still think I should change it. I just haven't done it yet. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it'll ever happen or not. But it's if I ever end up recording anything again for kids, and I will probably have to do a new version with different
I know what you
lyrics.
mean, though. Talking about like doing stuff for kids, it's like you don't want to advocate leprechaun violence, or like just
Yeah.
violence generally,
Strangling,
especially, like,
death,
young
you know.
kids.
I mean, you can
Yeah,
see it all the
strangling,
time
death,
in
cannibalism.
cartoons, right?
Yeah.
It happens all the time in cartoons, but should it really be something? I don't know.
Well, you get a choice in what you know what I mean. Like you get a choice. Like we were talking about, you don't have control over how people can like interpret
Yeah.
your art, but you have a choice over how you present your art and how you defend about it. Like at the
Yeah,
end of the
exactly.
day, we got to sleep at night.
Right.
And it's like if you like, it might not be like a change you have to make or necessary, but it's like if it's going to make you feel better and make you feel like you're participating in the world in a more ethical way,
Right. And
that's great. Or if it's funnier, or if
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
when we wrote when we wrote Jedi Mickey, which was another one that we did edit because there's a line in there when Mickey sees Minnie, the force is strong with her. He lays a kiss on her, and the fans all hurl. Fine. But then at the original verse, what included something on the lines of folks, that's a shame. Our love for many mice will never be the same. I changed it to our love for those mice will never be the same because I'm like, so what are we doing? Blaming the woman in this scenario? And I'm like, that's just not right. Certainly not in this day and age, but not in general. So we ended up changing that verse, which I felt wasn't very important. But sometimes, yeah, like you say.
that's an interesting point too. It's like it's small changes, but it I don't know if it makes you feel better about the work you're putting out, like, or expressing, like whether you're doing this for money or for fun, or
Right.
anyone who's doing songwriting or art. It's like at the end of the day, it's I think about not defending, but like feeling like you've done good work. You're good tired, like in that they hear you cheap in sense. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet your perspective, like my perspective on some stuff I thought is funny or fun, is obviously like changed as I've gotten older, and I'm sure like for you having kids, like it does probably change like your perspective on it. Like I've been following the Insane Clown Posse for a while because like I am a juggalette. I have been baptized in Fago at the Dark Carnival, and like that's not a bit. I really like the Insane Clown Posse, and the way their music has changed too over time as they've adopted more feminist values, more. They've always been extremely anti-racist, but as they've had kids too, like how their music is still very identifiably ICP, but there's a lot more kind of hopefulness and regret in the horrorcore, and I think that that's something interesting too. Like as a not just as a songwriter, but as someone who listens to music, to see how people change over time. I see some comments in the chat about like some other artists. Like Mikey Ordo, like things that they've changed in songs or songs they don't want to perform anymore. And it's like, I have stuff on the internet that I wish I had, like there's some earlier versions of the Succubus song that have a joke in it that I like the Prima Nocte thing. And it's like, and I have like a little note on it, but it's like, it's still out there. It still exists. Like, I'm not going to take it down necessarily. Sometimes there's art that I think you should take down.
Yeah.
And then most stuff, it's kind of like, well, this was me then, not me now.
It's
you
not
know,
me
but
now. Times
you
have changed. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Do you have another song that you?
Yeah, actually. So this is. I'm not going to get too dark with this one, but this song I do want to say, for content warning, it does reference suicide, but not in any kind of graphic way. So I just wanted to, if that's something you're sensitive to, please tune back in 3 or 4 minutes. So. But I won't hit you with anything too heavy. But this is called. I wrote this for a friend who took his own life, and it's he made like a live journal post that said "so long" and "thanks for all the fish," and it was like we're all like, "Oh, okay," nerd stuff, and it was like, "Oh no." So, but I promise it's not. This is not. I don't want to be like too much of a downer. So we're putting it in the middle, so it's not. So long, and thanks for all the fish. So long, and thanks for all the fish. You didn't know I meant it. Eastbound I-40, early morning. Pack up a laptop and my shotgun. Didn't stop until I saw ocean. Coastal sunrise, goodbye dawn. Blocked my reason to phrase now bittersweet. I saw the sun but pulled the trigger in my seat. So long, and thanks for all the fish. So long, and thanks for all the fish. You didn't know I meant it. They invited their God to my graveside. Their faith and my face constructed in wax. My wishes unobserved, they glossed the awkward facts. False shine and sticky, peace lily sickly. You drove home together, went back to class. Westbound I-40, too young for a shot glass. So long, and thanks for all the fish. 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 You didn't know I meant it, oh. You didn't know I meant it, oh. So long, you didn't know. So that's called So Long, and thanks for all the fish, which I can't hear that phrase now. I'm one of those people when I'm like sad about something, I laugh. But so that one I wrote for my friend that I knew well from like internet message boards were a big deal when I was in college, and like that was our community. But the thing with that song now, I've recently found out that he was kind of a dirtbag to some other women I knew. And the thing with this song now, it's like I like the song, but it's like it's not necessarily about writing the lyrics, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about like when you're so it's still a song that exists and that people like and that people find meaning from, and like when I play it at cons and stuff, it's like the chorus is easy to repeat. It's kind of a downer song, but it's like, you know, it's got like kind of that it's a good sing along in some ways. But what do you do when your perspective on your own material has changed? Like, do I still want to play this song, knowing that you know, my kind of understanding and perception of him from when I knew him is different from the reality, right? So it's like, how do you not necessarily lyrics, but like how do you kind of reframe it in your mind? Like, do I want to keep playing this song? Do I not?
That's one of those questions.
I like it. Yeah, but if you have thoughts on that too.
Well, Pat, of course, she posted down there. I came up with it came in traditional Irish music and never thought about how bloodthirsty a lot of it is. And are there traditional Irish songs you no longer sing because of the violence, political aspects, and which is a very just write down what you're talking about. And the answer to that is sort of. We played a song. The Rob Nagin Bards played a song a day or couple days ago, or maybe it was on Wednesday. I don't remember if it was on Friday or Wednesday, but called Patriot Game, and we nearly got kicked out. We pretty much almost got kicked out of an Irish festival for playing that song. And the reason is the song was written by Brendan Behan and inspired, I think, by Dominic Behan, and it's one of the most powerful songs to come out of the Irish rebellions. Now, the IRA is an iffy organization. You have the people in the Irish community who look at it and they say, you know, we're fighting to restore Ireland. But then they were also blowing up people in order to do that, and people who were not, you know, we're not talking about government, you know, soldiers. They're blowing up civilians, people who had nothing. There was a guy in New York who. He loved our music, but he walked out of the room every time we played an IRA song because of that. And then when I went to Ireland in 2007, was the Brobdingnagian Bards tour of Ireland, and right before I stopped off at this house of Claire Roche, this Irish harpist, and John Wilmot, who is was a Celtic music promoter, and I starting to sing a song, this Irish IRA song. I think it might have been Patriot Game. And they were like, "No, you don't sing that. You don't sing that here. You know, this is just something you don't do now because the tension was still, even though, you know, it had largely been de-escalated. De-escalated. It was still a very sensitive topic. So certainly, I think as time went on, I found myself singing like Black and Tans. I don't sing that nearly as often because that had a little bit more of a violent aspect to it. But whereas Patriot Game was a little bit of it could go either way. You could look at it as an Irish rebel song or an anti-Irish rebel song, because it's also about these guys basically sacrificing themselves for their country. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? And it's kind of ambiguous, in my opinion. So it's one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
And I wanted to mention from the chat too, like, and we could do this with folk music too. It's a thing I know, like the Misbehaving Maidens do. Cacophony mentioned another musician and performer that what about writing like for a follow-up song, and I hadn't thought about that, like for like my Frank song, you know, a follow-up song and kind of make a pair, and like and sort of like what are my feelings now. It's not necessarily like about the song itself, but it's like now I have, because like you know when you write songs, when you have feelings, it's like now I have feelings about a song about feelings, and it's like we're going down the like feelings inception. You know, when I put out my serious album, I'm gonna call it Not Clowning Around. But no, that's a really good point too, like when your perspective on it changes. And I think you could do this,
write a song about
but and for folk music, so like I love the song Mates When You're Young, Never Wed an Old Man. He can't perform, you know, and it's like you can I mean, there's plenty. It's like I feel bad because it's like I like older dudes, you know. But it's this, but whatever. It's like I don't want to like make fun of people, even though that's like I think that's a very lighthearted example of things that people know is obviously sort of tongue in cheek. But I still sometimes I'm like, don't feel bad. I still love you guys, you know, like
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I don't know. So it's like stuff like that. It's like it kind of depends on the audience, like, and reinterpreting kind of folk music too, like Pat was saying.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I liked about folk so much is that I love like traditional like Irish UK Appalachian music. Like that's why I started playing guitar, and a lot of those songs, there's not a lot of like places to play them. But then I stumbled into like folk stuff, and it's like, oh, it's the same tune, it's the same kind of folk tradition, of like passing stuff around and changing it, and original stuff too. And I think that's been interesting too. It's like we can kind of reshape some of our feelings about our work. But that was just an example of one that I had that was more about like the song itself and not the lyrics. But the lyrics obviously are important. So I've been rambling, but you have another.
No, well, you know, I think there is something to be said, though. One of the things that I found also when it comes to, you know, rewriting songs that, you know, sometimes you just don't do, is when you start learning more about songwriting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but when drinking songs, when I say drinking songs, I basically mean a good sing-along. And that's something I have learned over the time. That really isn't about necessarily drinking. It's about having a good song to sing along to. Well, frequently with a drink, but not necessarily. It's about singing along, right? But sing-alongs in themselves, you have to learn certain things. You know, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish has a very catchy title. And chorus, and it's really easy to jump into. But years ago, I recorded my CD, Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers, and when I was doing it, I was basically taking traditional Irish songs, and I wanted to rewrite some songs, but I wanted to do it with, you know, the call and response aspect. That's one of the big things about drinking songs, as you say, like I did the song Sláinte I say, when I sing Sláinte you shout Sláinte back to me, Sláinte, and then you shout Sláinte. And lo and behold, it's a really easy way to get people
teach it though.
To teach it and to get people involved. But what happens when you start writing a song like this, and you realize it has a call and response, but you don't know how to teach it? This is a song that I wrote to the melody of the Moonshiner, but it was written for inspired by The Cat Came Back. I was a crazy cat, for many's the year. My years are advancing, I sleep in my chair. Old Mr. Johnson still wants me to stay. If I don't get active, he'll send me away. I'm yellow tabby, kind of flabby, and I'm coming home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, and I'll sleep when I'm tired. And if you try to wake me, you'll wish you had died. That's your course. I'm going to teach this course one more time because we want to show you an example of how this all works. I'm yellow tabby, kind of flabby, and I'm coming home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry, and I'll sleep when I'm tired. And if you try to wake me, you'll wish you had died. Now you'll pick up that verse after all 12 verses. His neighbor ambushed me with shotgun and dynamite. My cat senses warned me, so I put up a fight. I clawed at his cigarette, it fell to the floor. It lit the dynamite as I ran out the door. Kaboom! See, that is what was my call and response part. I set that up because the audience is supposed to shout kaboom. So you see, all of a sudden it becomes a problem because each verse, I have a different call and response part. So I have to teach you now the next few call and response parts. So, okay, this is where it gets tough. The first one is gurgle, 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 gurgle. You got that? Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. The second one is curse splat. All right? Second, curse splat. Then comes crunch. And then comes a purr. Okay, you got all that?
I'm going to try it.
Can you remember all that?
But Yes.
If you can, you're better than I am. So, first one is gurgle, 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 then kersplat, then crunch, then purr. He gave me to a boy with $1 and a note to drown in the river when we were afloat. I saw the rope come towards me, let out a yowl. The boat tipped on over, the poor boy was drowned. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. I'm yelling tabby, kind of flappy, and I'm coming home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry and I'll sleep when I'm tired. And if you try to wake me, you'll wish you had died. Do you remember the next one?
Kersplat.
Good. Did you write these down? He gave me to a man going up in a balloon. I clung to his head. I am no buffoon. The man tried to free me, but then lost control. I stole his parachute as he crashed against the knoll. Kersplat. I'm a old tabby, kind of flabby, and I'm coming home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry and I'll sleep when I'm tired. And if you try to wake me, you'll wish you had died. He took me to the mill where the meat was ground. He left off the light so I wouldn't look around. I saw that food processor come closer to me. I jumped to the floor. He tripped bloodily. Crunch. I'm a old tabby, kind of flabby. I'm coming home, and if you don't like, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry and I'll sleep when I'm tired. And if you try to wake me, you'll wish you had died. Mr. Johnson, I know you hate me, but I have 9 lives, you haven't even 3. Blessed are the cat lovers, blessed are all kitties. So love me or leave me alone for to sleep. I'm a little tabby, kind of flabby, and I'm coming home. And if you don't like me, well, leave me alone. I'll eat when I'm hungry and I'll sleep when I'm tired. And if you try to wake me, you'll wish you had died. So you see, I have a horrible memory, and trying to remember all those little things throws me off every time. So I find it a little bit difficult to pull off that song myself. But I mean, obviously
Yeah.
others are better at it. But this is one of the things, as I started doing more drinking songs, going into the sci-fi drinking songs, this song helped me realize that, if I'm going to do songs like this in the future, I'm going to do it different. I'm not going to rewrite this one. I don't want to go back on that one. It's not one of my most popular ones, so I'm okay with it. But for future songs, if I'm going to have a call and response, it's going to be like Slanchava, where I say, and everyone sings Slanchava, Slanchava,
Slanchava.
and then you got it. So that's definitely one of the worked better for me.
I think it's an interesting discussion too, talking about writing for audiences, and sometimes you write songs for specific purposes, whether to entertain or for your self-expression or both, whatever. But it's like you were saying, like making sure, learning how to write sing-alongs is its own thing. And I think it's a thing that a lot of people overlook because they don't think about it. It's like, oh, these are simple songs, and that's true. Like frequently they are very regular patterns in structure, but that's part of why they work, right? Like
Right.
there's a reason so many sing-alongy kind of popular songs are like that kind of standard like 1-4-5 structure, and they have like people can kind of tell where the chord is going to go, like, or where the melody is going to go based on what they hear, and that's part of like what makes them easy to learn and easy to teach, and I think connects too. Like, I mean, there's a reason like campfire songs are so fun, like
Yeah.
there's that social aspect, and I think we're talking about a lot of like meta stuff around the songwriting too, like our own interpretation of the work, and then like some of the meta about what the work is for and how the songs work, because they don't just exist as songs. We're using them as communication,
Right,
as
right.
entertainment. And if a song isn't like if you're doing a song to entertain somebody and it's not entertaining, then it's like, I don't know, like that's an oopsie,
Yeah.
like maybe it's.
And that
so I have a couple things.
can kill a lot of
Cool.
songs too, right? I mean, that's that type of thing. If you're not entertaining, then it'll kill some songs. Some songs don't live on, right? So even though it could have been killed because it might not be as entertaining,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, the drop in my mic's probably I have a high roll off. I need to make sure I stay up on it. But a couple things I want to talk about. It's like there's the somebody mentioned in talking about the meta too. Before the end, I want to make sure we talk about like artist interpretation and control over it, because we don't have it.
Yeah.
But before though, do you have songs where like I'll have to play one where the it just doesn't, the jokes don't land, and like you feel the energy in the room just tank. Have you ever
Yeah.
like, and then it's like, but it's like, oh well, this is a 3-minute song, we're 2 minutes in, buckle up, you just kind of like, I mean, I've stopped stuff that just doesn't, whatever, but it's like, go ahead.
Well, no, we've done that with "If I Had a Million Ducats." That's one of those songs. For the longest time, it used to be a either a showstopper or a showstopper, because on the one hand it could be super darn funny, but sometimes I like the off the wall humor, and sometimes I'll go take it into a place that just doesn't make sense. Or Andrew sometimes will too. I think it's usually me, but all of a sudden it's like it just stops, and we're like, how do we pick this back up? Now, DragonCon's never a problem because someone in the audience will pick it up for us. But yeah, there's definitely songs like that.
Yeah, it's like you feel the energy tank, and then it's like, okay, well, I got to get this back on track. So there's a couple strategies. It's like, do I just lean in really hard into the stuff that's not doing well, as kind of a be so defiant that it becomes funny again? Or like, do you just kind of abandon it and then move to like a topic change? I've tried it both ways depending on the audience. Because like I also work with the way I look, especially if I'm in my clown stuff. Like I'm very cutesy, right? So like there's some stuff that I can say and do when I'm talking about the meta, like when I'm in my costume,
Right.
and when I'm in my like real face, my clown face, that I can get away with kind of when I'm in my civvies. But there's something to be said for your context too. Like as a performer, like I can say different things when I'm in my clown makeup that I still think are true as me, but people like they let you get away with a little bit more. I don't know if you find that when you're in your like full kilted garb.
Yeah, you can get away with things a little bit better. Early on, Andrew and I realized that if you sing with an Irish accent, you come off more authentic. So authentic, But even if we're, not the least bit, we had songs that people said, "Oh, that's a wonderful Irish song," because it was sung by someone with an Irish accent. So I don't know if that's. But
Yeah,
that's
there's something to
definitely
be said for
misdriven.
presentation
Yeah.
as well, especially if you're a performer as well as a musician. Oh, Night Saber says that they've definitely ended sets early when it's just not working. Like, yeah, save your energy.
Well, that what's interesting though, you say that, but I did this set in Italy actually in Salerno. I was performing for a bunch of Italians. I was doing a pretty good show, I felt like. The Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers CD had come out. I was playing some of those songs, telling jokes in Italian, which I'm not, that great at Italian, but doing a pretty good job. The audience was, you know, politely clapping between sets. And then the show ended, and I had like dozens of people come up to me and say, "Hey, molto bene, mi piace molto. I love this music. This was great." And so be warned that could happen too. People could misinterpret. There's a cultural misinterpretation, or the ways the audience seems to be feeling might be not how they're actually feeling.
Well, I will say one thing that's been great about live streaming is that you're playing to a camera, and like even if there are people
Yeah.
in chat, it's like you don't know what the reactions are. So it's like it's really helped train me to like keep my energy kind of consistent and up regardless of what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you read whatever room you're in, and like if there's nothing much to read, then it's like, all right, well, we're just gonna go hard.
Yeah.
It's been a very different experience. So some stuff in chat about interpretation. Like traditional songs with racist or sexist slurs. I change them when I sing traditional
Yeah.
songs that have truly like objectionable terms for
I think I'm
different
more likely
races
to.
or women. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead,
I
please.
think I'm more likely to actually not change them, but to rather not play them because,
Yeah.
for that very reason. Because yeah, I definitely don't care for that. But I have as a traditionalist when it comes to music, I'm like I don't really want to change the lyrics if I can help it.
Whereas I'm like, yeah, let's remake it in our own images.
More power to you.
But yeah, but those are both different strategies, and
Right.
like you said, like we have to do what makes us comfortable, and I think that being conscious of it is the first step, right? Like, even if we don't do everything perfect, if we're having these discussions, and I think a lot of times people as entertainers, they don't realize that we do put in this kind of thought and work in the behind the scenes stuff, because a lot of people that aren't familiar like with us as people, they see us as our product, like us as the work that we do, like been on stage, been you know, and it's like we're at cons or you know where you're authentic, but you're not like, they don't see the spreadsheets, you know, like they don't like, we don't talk about like paying our taxes on on stage usually, you know. So
Do you have another song that you want to share?
yeah, actually talking about jokes that don't land. So this is actually one of my, I think it's one of my finest lyrical things, but it's too deep cut. It's too deep cut. I wrote this in the car with my husband and my brother-in-law actually, and it's about old school LAN parties to the tune of Mountain Dew, which I didn't realize was like moonshine until like, you know, a few years ago, because I'm very sheltered and innocent. And
In North
but
Carolina,
this is one,
or you're South Carolina?
yeah, I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina, right?
Yeah, I should know better. We're
Right,
NASCAR country.
You would think.
So, so this is actually this is a trad parody about Mountain Dew, the gamer soda. So, it seems really loud. Hang on. Like I said, I have my issue here. La da dee da la da dum, la da dee da la da dum. Am I? Yeah, I'm on. Okay. La da dee da la da dum, la da dee da la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. La da dee da la da dum, la da dee da la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. The grass may grow and the waters flow, but we don't go out for days, 'cause I've got enough of the fine old stuff that fuels me day to day. Come gamers all from duty's call, Skyrim and Halo 2. Give noobs a slip and we'll take a sip of the rare old Mountain Dew. La da dee la da dum, la da dee la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. La da dee la da dum, la da dee la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. There's a magic place in this meat space where the lag spikes are profound, but we frag and slay both night and day, and the headshots do abound. So my car I pack with games and snacks, a combo tried and true. To the land I roll with a Cheetos bowl and a bucket full of Mountain Dew. La da dee la da dum, la da dee la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. La da dee la da dum, la da dee la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. Now the Uber lead who used TeamSpeak your praises have relayed. Your sweet caffeine and glowing green from orange and sugar made. Throw out that speed, this is all you need, even if you whine QQ. Stay up all night till the morning's light with the rare old Mountain Dew. La da dee la da dum, la da dee la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. La da dee la da dum, la da dee la da dum, la da do right diddly I-A. Mountain Dew all night and day. So that's the Mountain Dew song. Thank you. It is. I like it, and it's fun. And when people get it, they really, really like it, because it's like, I mean, I remember like going to LAN parties with a laundry basket, you know, of like your equipment and like CRT monitors. They made me strong. And it's like, but that song, rarely people like the sound of it, because like it's a fun folk tune, but it's like it's too deep cut. It usually goes flat.
Yeah, I don't know what LAN parties are, but there's enough about gaming that it seemed like online gaming is what I got out of that, and I'm like, which is really funny. I thought that aspect was the funny part for me. So it did transcend a little bit for not knowing what a LAN party is.
Yeah, so like that's the thing. So like a lot of people do, and like when you're with like nerds, they do, but it's just funny that like that's one that doesn't. I just have to be careful where I play it. People on Twitch like it.
Yeah.
Because they're already doing the online gaming, you know, and networked gaming. But okay, let's see. There was something else I wanted to mention related to.
You had mentioned.
Do you have any thoughts?
Artist
while
responsibility. I have thoughts, but anxiety about not having control. You were talking about the not having control.
Oh, thank you for looking at that. Yeah, we were talking kind of.
Thanks for writing it down.
Discussion. Yeah, I have a lot with people. It's like I think there is some artist responsibility. Like we're talking about like not singing songs with certain kinds of context or changing slurs. Or one thing I do, and a lot of people in the Misfit like it's reclaiming folk music and reclaiming some of this imagery in a different way. Like I said, I'm very comfortable with like reinterpreting older tunes and songs because it's like you can still have the history and the progression of it, but yeah, I worry about some of my music and like what do you do if like racists co-opt your song as an anthem? You know what I mean? Like like I look at Lindsay Ellis had a really interesting point in Cabaret. The song "Tomorrow Belongs to Me" actually kind of gets adopted by like white nationalists and stuff, but in as a musical number, they're not doing like Nazi musical numbers, but like but then in The Producers, the song like "Springtime for Hitler."
Right.
Like racists don't sing that, there's something to be said for the satire, but then it's like, what do you do? And you just don't have control over it. Like all we can do, I think at the end of the day is like try and make our context clear.
And
at
you
some
can
point,
disavow it and disavow those who would abuse it. But I don't know if there's not much you can really do per se. But I know what you mean. Yeah, it's.
But it's okay to
definitely
be
a
like,
possibility.
and I'm anxious about it because I don't know what to do, and it might not like it's gonna happen. But you know what I mean? It's like there's not a good solution. But I think having anxiety around that is really valid.
Yeah, it is.
Because I mean, we are artists. Like we're putting stuff out, and there's always kind of a personal element to it. Like you're putting a lot of yourself out there in either in your songwriting or your performance, your instrumentation, and just putting yourself out there socially too. Especially like when you're like in like smaller groups or like you're a solo artist, it's like at some point you are your product as well.
Yeah.
If that, so it's like I am both myself and my work. You know what I mean? And it's all kind of tied up together, and it's.
Those I do take there. I can think of a song that I don't play as much for that very reason. Actually, not that it's ever been an issue, but it's just one of those songs I'm like, that could be taken the wrong way or out of context, and I don't know if I really want to. And it's not, resonating that much. So again, it's one of those, at that point in time, I'm like, I'll just take a step back and not worry about it. But if it did resonate, what do you do? Well, that takes a different meaning. Then you have to seriously consider whether you want to continue playing it or whatnot, or whatever.
Does it make you feel good to play it at a certain point? I mean,
and I think
especially it's hard.
I think I would probably step back myself, and which is what I've done with that song,
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was gonna say like stuff does kind of just talking to Or's question in the chat, like stuff does kind of age out, and the other thing too, like there's some songs it's like even if they're popular, it's like you get tired, like it's okay to get tired of playing things, even if they're like popular, and it's hard though because like you don't want to not play the hits that people like and that people want to like not even like pay for, but it's like stuff that generates excitement. But then at the same time, it's like, do you still feel good about playing it? Because then it's like, and it's okay to make these choices, like and have some stuff that's like, I don't feel quite as good about playing this as I used to, but I'm still going to do it for these other purposes. But I think it's good to have had that discussion with yourself so that you're making very intentional choices about what you're playing, even if like you're sort of compromising some stuff. Like it's okay to make compromises. We can't I don't like to, and I try not to have to be in that position, but like you do get to make some choices about what you put out and how you put it out, but you don't have a lot of, I don't know, it's just kind of a thing to like staying really conscious of what you're choosing to present, I think is really, really important.
Yeah. I want to do one more song before we finish up, which is a song that it's very kind of appropriate because tonight I'm doing the Hobbit Drinking Songs show, and it's one of the songs from that show, which was The Ring of Hope. The Ring of Hope, I absolutely love this song, and it's loved by many because it's a song about Samwise Gamgee. It's a song about friendship, but as a songwriter, I look back and I realize that there's a couple things in there that just kind of bug me, but I don't see any need to change it because it's such a, it resonates so well. I was young, I'd sit around begging with Bilbo, sing songs and tales about the elves of old. While we smoked our southern star, a leaf of golden par transformed the hobbit's life forevermore. I remember Gandalf was exceptional among men. Mastered the art, blew smoke rings and dragons. But if only he had known that Bilbo's ring was the one, he'd never let it corrupt my master's soul. Let the west wind blow my ring of smoke over through Mordor, one ring of hope. Now the kids all sit around my wagon home. I tell stories to them, though not of old. Well, the pipe weed is still the same, but my memories are out of frame, transformed by my love of Master Frodo. Let the west wind blow my ring of smoke over through Mordor, one ring of hope. Now the ring is gone and my master sailed to his new home. I have no pipe with me for one last smoke, but I can see the southern star. Please take me to where you are. The sadness inside floats away with my smoke. Let the west wind blow my ring of smoke over through Mordor, ring of hope, my ring of smoke over through Mordor, one ring of hope. So I had to do that one last song just because it was also one of the songs that inspired me for this whole show, which is a couple lines in there, in particular, blowing Gandalf blowing dragons. Which, you know, obviously it's pipe smoke. It was inspired by pipe smoke, but just kind of blowing
Phrasing.
dragons.
I mean, those are the kinds of books that I read.
I know. And so most people, no one ever actually gets that, and
Sure,
so it's all by myself. And the other line is
But do you ever laugh when you say it?
every time. And then what was it? Now the kids all sit around my bag in home, and I know it takes this. I feel like that should have been like the last verse, because then it goes back. It flashes back, I guess, to the last moment before they head home. But still, it's one of those things that it always bugged me in how that was set up. But again, it's a song that I think it goes really well, and there's no reason to change it. But it's still it's still one of the songs.
Dope. It was a dope song.
So, any case, I know we probably can keep going on for another hour, but
yeah. Well, I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna hang out in the chat after we wrap
Sounds good.
on Facebook and respond to some people and continue the discussion once we have to cut off the actual stream. But this has been really interesting and nice to talk to you and to other people about how we handle our art.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, Matricula. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to plug at 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. tonight on this channel. I will be doing a solo set,
Woo.
PG-13, but I will be in full clown gear. And in fact, I will have the ridiculously large clown horn for the show. So I think that's my next thing. Do you have other appearances, Mark? I think you've got another panel, right?
I have another panel. So 8:30 p.m. is Hobbit Drinking Songs. I have a panel tomorrow on using podcasts to promote your music, and then I also have a 2 p.m. show which is part of the digital media track. So that's tomorrow at 2 p.m. So
Cool.
join that as
And the
well.
cool thing, even though we both have shows tonight at 8:30, because it's the internet, you'll be able to catch the replay. So come watch. Just watch either of us and then swap, and it'll be fun. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for everybody tuning in. So
Yeah, and thanks to the Filk Track for having us. So
thank you, Amber.
Thank y'all. All right. So coming up next will be Writing Music with Andrew McKee. Same Facebook and YouTube streams. So we will see you at 2:30 for Andrew, and then after that we will have our second part of our Fresh Filk debuts, highlighting folks that haven't, for one reason or another, been able to participate in Dragon Con previously, and they all have 2x10s coming up at 4. And then after that we've got the Faithful Sidekicks live, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for that concert at 5:30. At 7 p.m., we'll have the Night Sabers. This will be a pre-recorded show, but I'm sure that Chris, who is in the comments right now, will actually be commenting on those as well. And then we've got Metricula live here at 8:30. And to finish up our streams for the folk music track for the day at 10 p.m., tune back in for a game in the round of Jackbox games with the Misbehaving Maidens and the PDX Broadsides. We'll see you in just a few minutes for Andrew McKee's writing panel. Thank you.